play. What they're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here. Let's go now. A little life out here. Let's have a little life out here.
What it do, Packer Nation? I'm Camille Davis coming to you here on Ahead of the Pack. Of course, joined by Monte, Dan Kotnik. And unfortunately, we're not coming here this week after a win. Like we've gotten accustomed to the last couple of weeks. An embarrassing game against the Cleveland Browns last week, but we're not even here to rehash that. We've had time all the rest of this week to talk about that. We're going to set our sights, of course, on the week 4 opponent, that Sunday night football game against the Dallas Cowboys down there in Dallas. And for our opening drive here, as we talk about the biggest storylines heading into the week, before we started recording, we kind of were kicking around some of the things we wanted to talk about. And I was amazed. We were all in the exact same wheelhouse, different aspects, but all the same wheelhouse of what our biggest storylines heading into this week's game is. And of course, a lot of hoopla is going to be around Micah Parsons' return to Dallas, but I don't really have many concerns about the defense, although the Cowboys offense is pretty good despite how bad their defense has been. My focus coming into this game, my biggest storyline for the opening drive this week is just how will the Packers respond after last week's game? Because as we mentioned, like it was embarrassing what we saw happen in Cleveland last week. Not even just the play on the field from the amount of penalties that they had, 14. Not even some of the play calling down the stretch there. Not just even the play of the players, like the whole operation. Plays were getting in late. Like everything in this operation was just kind of fluky, not right in Cleveland. I want to see, one, how the operations look in Dallas on the road again, but also for the offense in particular. How can they bounce back? And I think Dallas sets them up for a good opportunity to do that because the defense, you can attack it.
Well, we're gonna say on the road, right?
Yes, great. Yes, with quotes, on the road.
Obviously, as we know, Packers have not lost a game yet to be played in Jerry World, including the Super Bowl in 2010. But anytime they go there, right, it's 50-50 Packers at worst. Now, again, there's a lot of hype surrounding this game. Obviously, we'll get into the Micah Parsons of it, but so maybe this time, maybe more Cowboys fans like make themselves known, but in any case, you're right. I mean, they didn't have a great showing for their first road game. The operation was sloppy, exactly as you said. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the reasons I'm glad we get to do this show is I feel like we've moved on from last week.
Yeah.
So now we can get into what's important for this week. But for me, mine is Josh Jacobs, the running backs as a whole, but specifically Josh Jacobs. He's been a top 5 back. The last season when his first season in Green Bay, he's been off to a slower start, and it's not necessarily all his fault. The same thing last year happened that's happening this year. 92% of Josh Jacobs' rushing yards are after contact. And it's nice to have a running back that can break tackles in the backfield and break that first tackle, 2 yards down past the line of scrimmage and turn a 2-yard run into an 8-yard run and all that. Yeah. But they use him like a workhorse, and the line and the run game, it needs to be better, because for as much as they like to lean on the run game and really use him as their workhorse back, those hits are going to take a toll. He is, he's a beast, he's a specimen, but it'd be nice to not have to rely on that as the main component of your rushing attack. So this Dallas defense, it hasn't been good stopping the run or the pass, to be quite honest with you. So I think with the opportunity to bounce back from an offensive line performance and a run game performance, this is kind of going to be where they should be able to really make some headway on that.
Yeah. Monte, you're right. Josh Jacobs in the running game needs to get started for this offense to be fully functioning. Josh Jacobs needs to be doing way more. And there's way more involved in just Josh Jacobs needs to run the ball better. But I wonder if this will be the week that we even see that, because just how bad this Cowboys pass defense is like almost historically bad. Like Russell Wilson torched them, and he just got benched for Jackson.
I was going to say he's out of a job right now.
He went for 450 over Dallas. 450 yards. Russ, he was looking like Danger Russ for real during that game against the Cowboys. And now he's on the bench.
Yeah, this is a very bad defense. I mean, what do you expect when you hire Matt Eberflus to run defense? I saw somebody brought up something like Matt Eberflus finally developing Caleb Williams last week. Like Caleb Williams looked good against this Cowboys defense. Good. This should be a walk in the park for the passing game. And I wonder if, just because how rough it looked for the passing game last week, if they focus on that this week. But to go into my bit from the opening drive here, Monty, to piggyback off of what you're saying with Josh Jacobs in the running game, is it time to start worrying about this offensive line as a whole? Not just because of injuries, but the quality of play in players that we should expect better from. Last week, we sang the praises a little bit of Elton Jenkins.
Yeah.
Last week was like the first time I've ever just watched a game and seen Elton Jenkins look lost on a football field. And that's a really bad sign, particularly because he's your center. that's really bad. And then obviously the injury stuff, you can't control that. Zach Tom goes back down with the injury on the first offensive snap. Aaron Banks, out again, the shuffling around. I get that, but you invested a first round pick in Jordan Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
You invested a second round pick in Anthony Belton. Anthony Belton sort of held his own a little bit. He'll take time to develop, but Jordan Morgan got his lunch ate on Sunday, not just in the play, but all of those penalties, absolute drive killers, each one of them. He looked like a rookie on Sunday. And so just start to wonder how many times can this offensive line shuffle around before this offense can really settle down, or is there a breaking point before it goes the other way and this offense can't really find its footing?
I'm really glad that I think it was Monday's press conference that Matt LaFleur kind of validated what I know a handful of people in the fan base, based on online, discussions are thinking is Jordan Morgan. Obviously he had that, rookie season where it was kind of a red shirt. He was injured. But he's really played 9 career games, and they've tried him everywhere. Right. I'm sure you guys were just as kind of bewildered by it as I was when it was Zach Tom's out of the game after that first play, and now Jordan Morgan's playing right tackle. And I'm I don't think he's ever played
really
right tackle.
I was not Kennard. We saw that last week.
Yeah.
Like against Myles Garrett. Really?
Right.
Right. So it was nice to hear him kind of say, you know what, we may have been stretching him too thin. I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but something to the lines of, we might not be doing him any favors by doing that. So my hope is going forward, Jordan Morgan he's either going to play left tackle or right guard for this season, right? We know he's the long-term plan because we're assuming Rasheed Walker is gone. They want him at left tackle after that, but let him play the left side, and just leave him there. But yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with what Dan is saying. The line, I mean, it all starts and ends, this isn't groundbreaking analysis up front, but that is supposed to be one of the strengths of this team. The way they invest in it in the draft, the way they constantly are, scraping other teams' practice squads for linemen. They made the trade for Kennard. Like, they want to make sure that the offensive line is not a weakness. And we give them the benefit of the doubt, just like you guys do, just like me. Like, when they make moves on the O-line, we trust it's going to work out until it doesn't. And it doesn't mean they'll never have a bad game, but they cannot be a liability.
So with that being said, I think that seeing how bad they looked last week, and even some of the cracks you started seeing against Washington, although they were able to still generate enough points and keep that offense moving in that game, the Cowboys feel like the perfect antidote to this, right? Because that defense is that bad. Like, when you look at the Chicago Bears, when I say trash, my mind went straight to Chicago. My fault. Talking about Dallas. Small Dallas. Wrong trash can. But the defense for Dallas, one, it seems like up front, like they just get no pass rush, which
none.
I mean, Micah Parsons been traded. We know. We kind of know. But they have been getting no pass rush. Like, they're 3 games in and they have 4 sacks through 3 games. Rashawn Gary has 4.5 sacks by himself. Like, the pass rush has been non-existent in Dallas. And with the offensive line for the Packers being a little banged up, leaky last week, this feels like it could be a good unit to try to get yourself together with. In addition to that, the secondary, the last 2 weeks, they have given up so many explosive plays. Like, so many explosive plays in that secondary. They're also banged up there as well. You can get Dallas with some of these deep balls, but you just have to have enough time to let that play develop. And based on the pass rush that Dallas has had, this feels like the kind of game where things should get on track for that Packers offense. But one thing for me that I'm keeping an eye on, mentioned the Cowboys haven't gotten much pressure with their front 4. And they haven't blitzed a lot either. Like, they just haven't done it. And I do wonder if, based on what they saw last week, knowing like, hey, if you pressure Jordan Love, if you can find a way to actually pressure him, he's probably an average league quarterback at that point. And on top of that, too, we know the Packers really want to get these longer development plays set up. If we can just get to them, we can kind of nip that in the bud. We're going to try to blitz more than we have so far this season. I'm curious to see if Dallas pulls that card, because I have heard them talking this week about maybe we need to simplify our defense a little bit here. Maybe we need to simplify a little bit. And we saw it last year with the Packers where Hafley was like, not getting the amount of pressure that I want. Let's do some blitzes, some simulated pressures, just trying some things to make things uncomfortable for opposing quarterbacks. I wonder if Dallas does that. But even still, based on what the Dallas defense has put on tape, this should be a game for the Packers to get right.
Yeah, I mean, to contextualize all of that, I've got the number, the ranks up in front of me here.
Beautiful.
Points per game, Cowboys are 27th. Opponents' yards per play, they're 31st. 20-plus yard plays given up, they're tied for 30th. They're 28th in sacks, and they're dead last in third down percentage.
Yeah. See, so, scheme is great. You gotta have the guys to execute.
Yeah,
they literally. I mean, this isn't exaggerating. They're not stopping anything. And you talk about this is the perfect kind of game to get right. I mean, that only further is exemplified because I pulled up their injury report. Now today we're recording on Wednesday. We are the first. Right, this is the first one of the weekend. Things can obviously change tomorrow and Friday, but Tyler Booker, their tackle, didn't practice. Trayvon Diggs didn't practice. We already know CeeDee Lamb is out. And Deron Bland, their other corner, was limited in practice. And then a third corner, Bridges, was limited with a knee. So, I mean, it's not lining up well for the Cowboys to fix their issues. But as we'll get into, the Packers are still going to have to take advantage, and we'll kind of discuss where those matchups look like they're going to be favorable.
Mm-hmm. So for me, when thinking about this, like Dan, you brought up the fact that maybe we should worry about the offensive line, and Monte, you focus more so on the passing game. I mentioned the fact that this feels like a game where it's a good opportunity to pass back. Monte, you just mentioned that there are certain matchups and whatnot that you're looking to see if the Packers will attack. This feels like an elementary question of, would you rather see the Packers try to attack the Cowboys primarily through the air or on the ground? But knowing Matt LaFleur, he's going to try to call that 50-50 as much as possible anyways. But my question is, where do you think they're going to have the greater success against Dallas? Because we do know the run defense for Dallas has been bad for years. It's been a bit better. Kenny Clark has actually been like their best defensive player, which
Well, it's going to be better now that they lost Micah Parsons, remember?
Right. Right. So, but like, honestly, which aspect of the offense for the Packers do you think has the best chance for success against Dallas?
Despite my focus for the game, I think they're going to be able to throw the ball pretty much whenever they want in this game. Like, let's not discount the fact that Jordan Love's first playoff game was against the Cowboys in this stadium, and he absolutely lit them up. He's going to be very comfortable going back into that stadium against this team. Now, again, the Packers are pissed off, highly motivated. I would argue the Cowboys are going to be just as motivated because obviously we know the Micah Parsons storyline in this game. But all of that is well and good. But if you don't have the horses in the NFL, you can only go so far on emotion and whatever else. So I think the Packers are going to be able to throw the ball the way Matt LaFleur wants to, because I think, like we talked about, the line isn't going to be tested arguably as much as they were last week, again, the rest of the season, but it's certainly not going to be against this Cowboys team.
No.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of I'm going to twist your question a little bit, because, instead of it being through the air or on the ground, I think who really finds just the most success is just the wide receivers in general. And so I'm saying it like that because Matt LaFleur, when he has an off game, I feel like he always bounces back with something like where it's like, that's why you're a great offensive play caller. And that always entails a lot of motion, a lot of misdirection. And we saw that really ramp up against Cleveland with Savion Williams and Matthew Golding, and a lot of touches in the backfield on end arounds. They did the Savion Williams Wildcat thing twice, which so clearly that's something they are really falling in love with. So whether it's on the ground or through the air, I really think the wide receivers are going to be what makes this offense run. It's going to go all through them. Look for Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, the two young pups, to eat against the Cowboys.
I love that. And before we get into connections, I know, Monte, you had a matchup you wanted to highlight as well. One thing I want to highlight, and I kind of touched on it at the beginning too, is I also want to see how clean of a game the Packers can play. Like week 1, I felt great. It was only 4 penalties against the Lions. And I'm like, man, that's impressive. And then you see that bump up to 10 against Washington. You're like, okay, not great, but you found a way to win. There's things to clean up when you watch the tape. Go ahead and get after it. But then you have 14 against Cleveland. And again, it's the first game on the road. I get that. But even when you just break down where all the penalties have come from over the last 3 weeks, it's not even that you can point at one unit and be like, it's totally your fault. And that's the thing where it's like, dang, it's like undisciplined across the board. Because if you look at the breakdown of the penalties, they have 28 penalties, not including 3 declined and 1 offsetting in 3 games so far. That's tied for the 4th most in football. And when you break down which phase has what, the offense had 12 penalties, the defense had 10, which is the 7th most in the NFL, and special teams had 6, which is the 5th most in the NFL after 3 weeks of play. Championship teams, as we know, like you can't beat yourself along the way. And although I am expecting a Packer-friendly crowd in AT&T Stadium, like you have to be on your game on the road.
Yeah, I mean, when you have these road games where Packers have a very good representation in the stands, you have to take advantage of that and not give the home team's fans a reason to get into the game. Right? I mean, perfect example. When the Packers went down there 2 years ago for the playoffs, they were on their necks from the start of the game, right? I mean, the Cowboys fans maybe got into it a little bit there late in the third when it was true garbage time and all that. But like with the environment and the energy that's going to be there, you know, the Dallas fans are already apathetic that they lost Micah Parsons, right? So they're going to be down in the dumps, right, for lack of a better term. So don't give them a reason to get into the game. I think that's a really good thing to bring up. But for me, my matchup, it's not necessarily a matchup. It's more of, are they finally going to hit on one of these Matthew Golden deep shots? Okay, because they tried it twice against the Commanders, just missed each time. I thought they had it on Sunday in Cleveland, and whether it was Matthew Golden not realizing where the sideline was, or if the throw was just a little bit outside, there's been way too much discussion over whose quote unquote fault it was. But either way, they're clearly trying, right? And they clearly see stuff like this on film where they keep trying. So we already talked about the Cowboys are down at least one corner, their best corner, and their pass rush hasn't been there. Like, they're going to try to take one of these shots again. So that's also going to be my bet. I'm not going to go an over under, just going yes or no. Does Matthew Golden finally get one of these deep ball touchdowns on Sunday night?
It's funny because as you were saying that, I was like, dang, that'd have been a good bet this week too. Dan, did you have anything else that you wanted to highlight at matchup wise before we roll into connections for the week?
No, I mean, just with the penalties thing, like I think 3 of those like false start penalties turned a 3rd and short into a 3rd and long, and like killed offensive drives. Like that is one of the biggest matchups to look forward to. Like, you have to play smart football.
Yeah, and get all those 3rd and long situations, because again, when you look at the game against Detroit where they had success, weren't many 3rd and longs, 3rd and manageable, where you're able to keep that playbook really open for whatever it is that you might want to throw out there in that situation. So definitely something to keep an eye on. But also, so are the connections between the Packers and the Cowboys. Dan, what connections did you find for us this week for the matchup?
Yeah, it was so hard to find anybody that's either played for the Cowboys or plays for the Packers or vice versa.
I mean,
this game could. I mean, I was really scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but I don't know if you knew Rich Bisaccia was the former Cowboys special teams and assistant head coach from 2013 to 2017.
Can you give him a back? Is that what you said?
Leave him there. Rich comes out of the locker room. The bus is gone.
Yeah, John Travolta gift.
This is a Dallas sweatsuit waiting for him out there, and he's just like, "Wait."
Jerry Jones comes out of the shadows. Welcome back, Rich.
I'm leaving here with something.
Adam Stenavich actually briefly played on the Cowboys roster in 2008 during training camp. And Camille, I think you found these two here. I am not a Wisconsin football fan.
I am not either.
I completely forgot Wisconsin football existed, which it seems I think a lot of Wisconsin football fans would probably also like.
No comment.
Thanks. But 2 former Wisconsin Badgers, Jake Ferguson and linebacker Jack Sanborn, are now Dallas Cowboys. Jake Ferguson is the leading receiver for the Dallas Cowboys now that CeeDee Lamb is out this week. So.
He had like 12 catches against the Bears or something last weekend.
He had a crazy amount, but like the yardage still wasn't.
Yeah. He had like that Jahmyr Gibbs game against Green Bay where he had like 10 catches for like 30 yards or something like that. Right. It was
pretty much. Okay, it's time for the bets. I always love the bets, and I love seeing the comments too when people drop their bets for the week in there as well. Monte, we already heard yours. Yes or no if Golden and Love finally hit that connection.
So what are you
For
guys
me,
going on that?
You're going for it.
I'm taking it.
I'm taking it.
This feels like the game. Like, again, Dallas is susceptible to those big plays. Like, it feels like the week.
I feel like I don't know if it's quite going to be one of those Matt LaFleur open the game with a deep shot type moves, but I do think they're going to try to go to that pretty early and just take the air out of the stadium from the Cowboys' point of view.
I could see that too. I'm setting the line at 0.5. This happens or it doesn't. We mentioned the fact that that AT&T Stadium, very Packer friendly. Shoot, the Packers themselves haven't even lost an AT&T Stadium since that's been a thing at this point. They've scored at least 34 points every time they've been down there in that stadium against the Dallas Cowboys. And for that reason, it is a road game, but I am expecting there to be a lot of Packer fans. So 0.5. Drives where the Cowboys have to use a silent count at home.
Oh,
do you think we see a drive where Packer fans are so loud in AT&T Stadium that the Cowboys have to go silent count on offense?
I think so. I say yes.
Yeah, I think if it's not necessarily exactly a silent count, the offensive line is affected by the crowd noise in their home stadium. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that one too. Dan, what you got?
I have it that both Kenny Clark and Micah Parsons will get the "now here's a guy" statement from Chris Collinsworth, because it's like maybe 3 or 4 times a game Chris Collinsworth, he doesn't do it for everybody, but it's after some big play in the replay. They'll sing. It's a single shot. They highlight him, and Chris Collinsworth always clears off. Mike, now here's the guy, Micah Parsons. You try to double team him, and then you triple that. I apologize. That went way too John Madden very, very quickly. But you all know what I mean. The Chris Collinsworth, where he singles you out. I think Kenny Clark and Micah Parsons. They're the dyad of this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all anyone's going to talk about.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Can I do a bonus bet?
Absolutely.
I thought you were going to could you do a Chris Collinsworth? And I was like, yes, I think we all need to do that.
Like, it's the impression.
So, yeah, I have a bonus bet just off of, I feel like we're doing the viewers a disservice if we don't make one of the bets surrounding both Kenny and Micah Parsons. So I'm going to go with what is more likely in this game. You have to pick one of these two things to happen. Micah Parsons with 3 sacks or Kenny Clark with 1?
I think I might actually go Kenny Clark with 1.
Just also say Kenny with 1.
Because there are some, especially the interior, the offensive line for the Packers, where Kenny's probably going to be lined up most of the time. So 3 sacks in one game is a lot, but also Dallas's offensive line's a little leaky too with the 2 injuries there.
Is he ever going to be more motivated?
Yeah, he said he don't feel bad what he has to do to Dak, and he wanted Flacco last week. He couldn't get to him. I'm gonna go with Kenny. I want to see it be the Micah Parsons, but I think it's going to be the Kenny Clark one.
I mean, just odds alone.
Yeah,
odds alone.
No,
it's 1 versus.
That's an interesting one. Yeah, if you're going to play the odds, it's Kenny getting 1. But I mean, based on that, we talked about matchups. We do need to mention that Elton Jenkins, Kenny Clark car crash every snap.
I mean, they've gone against each other in practice for years. They know this is like 2 old samurais going against each other.
All right. Let's wrap up with our predictions for the week. Of course, we went 0-1 last week alongside our Packers. We thought it would be a big display for the offense. Didn't give the Browns defense, I think, enough credit last week of what they had been doing, but also didn't expect the Packers offensive line to look that bad. Regardless, new week, new predictions. I'm going 38-17 Packers. The Packers maintain their streak of scoring at least 34 points against Dallas down there in AT&T Stadium. And as I had a comment on one of my technical foul posts when talking about earliest football memories, AT&T Stadium, Packers fans, we love it. Dallas Stadium, on the other hand, good riddance. Glad we're not there. But
okay. I picked him to break 30 against the Commanders. They didn't do it. Picked him to break 30 against the Browns. They definitely didn't do it. I feel remiss to pick it to happen again, but if it's not going to happen against this team, I feel like it's not going to happen. So we talked about the defensive woes. I'm picking them. I'm going to go 37-16 Green Bay in this one. I think this is such a unique game because right before the season started, right, the Packers got that jolt of adrenaline. Micah Parsons joins the team, season opener at Lambeau Field against a division rival. Arguably, you feel like, how the hell are they going to get that type of, like adrenaline boost again this season? And now you have it just 3 games later. Like, your big acquisitions going back to face his old team. It's in prime time. We have the background of Jerry Jones had said that loss to Green Bay 2 years ago was the worst one he's ever experienced. Like, this has all like the storylines of a playoff game, but when you like what we just did, when we broke it down to just who's the better team, it's really not close. I mean, the Packers should have a relatively easy time against Dallas.
Yeah. I'm copy and pasting my score from last week. I think I was just a week ahead. 42-14. Packers win. This offense just absolutely hums. And everyone that trashed this team after the Browns will still probably trash this team because we lost to the Browns, but at least we kicked the crap out of the Cowboys again. So
I know that's right. That's what I'm trying to be talking about when we get together next time to talk.
If these scores happen and, we all talked about the passing game shining, we could have all 4 offensive players of the week for September be NFC North QBs, because we had somehow JJ McCarthy week 1, Goff week 2, and then it was Caleb last week against this Cowboys team. So the NFC North could sweep the offensive player of the week.
That's all I'm hearing. It's Jordan's turn right now. So
that's right. Exactly.
Well, that'll be the show for this week, guys. We hope you all enjoyed. As a reminder, tell your friends everything about Ahead of the Pack. Make sure you're all subscribed up on the YouTube on Cheesehead TV. Make sure you're liking the videos, dropping comments. We do come through there and respond a bit as well. So make sure you're doing that. If you want to follow me on social media, I am on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram at Camille Monet, CAMILOE MONAE. Guys, where can they find you?
You can find me as well. I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky. I'm at Ferd Turgeson, FERDTURGESON. And you can catch all 3 of us as your Monday show for the Pack a Day podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Late night on Sunday for all of us coming up. I'm on Blue Sky as well at Dan on the Mano is where you can find me on the socials.
All right. So until next time, guys, make sure that you continue to support Cheesehead TV. And as always, go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.